Hi there, welcome to Midweek Mobility, and this week we are talking about the hips. We're talking about finding a bit of movement in the hip joint and also strengthening the surrounding muscle structure at the same time. So bigger bang for your buck, you're mobilizing and strengthening together. So make yourselves comfortable, you're lying on your side. So head down, and you can have a cushion here if you prefer to, or just resting your head down on the bottom arm. Legs are bent, and let's have your feet. If you look behind you, you can line yourself up against the edge of the mat if it's easier, or just check that your feet are in line with your tail. So you don't want your knees in here, and equally, you don't want the legs out here. So try and keep them quite close, but heels in line. Resting your head down, let's check the rest of the body. So the pelvis is likely to sink this way. You've got to kind of push that hip away so that the hips are stacked directly one on top of the other, and you're not kind of collapsing into a sort of fetal position, comfortable position. So a little bit of lift through the waist, push this hip away, make sure your ribs aren't pushing out and flaring out, check them that they're tucked in, open collarbones, eye line forwards. And then we start with a basic clamp, so heels together, pelvis stable, exhale to open, inhale lower. Now make sure that as you open that you don't roll back through the pelvis, so you don't go for huge range, don't worry about how far the leg moves, worry about keeping this stability. Equally, as this leg starts to move, make sure you're not sinking down into your waist. That's classic, is to kind of shorten this distance and collapse here. So you want a little bit, or actually quite a lot, of engagement in the underside of the waist. So really picking the tummy up, pulling it into your spine and being aware of that. That will help to stabilize the pelvis, which will give you more movement in your hip. That mobility in your hip will come from the right place, so you start to strengthen that supporting structure. The smaller glute muscles, the glute med, which is responsible for this movement of rotation. So we're going to just do a couple more here, and on your next one you're going to hold that opening, hold it there, and now we swap direction. So you're going to turn your knee in and your foot comes up, and then you open out again. Now the movement is coming from this thigh bone. Don't twist to get the knee to the ground or to get the knee to the other knee. If it doesn't come all the way, just leave it hovering and then go into that all important big opening. Small movement on the internal, bigger movement on the external. Again, keeping all of your structures in place, ribs pulled in, little bit of lift through the waist, tummy pulling in. What you don't want to do is make this a knee twist. The knee doesn't move in that direction, it's not meant to. So we keep the leg completely stable and we just rotate in that hip socket. Okay, so just finding a bit of movement. We're going to go for 3 and 2 and 1. Stay open and now extend. Bend and lower. So you open, you lengthen, you bend, and you lower. Now what I see a lot of is this, and then collapse for the lengthen, and then there's nowhere for that foot to land. So you've got to keep that rotation, and that's the tricky bit, holding this thigh bone completely still, and then the hinge movement just comes from that knee. Extend in and down, checking all these structures. Are you still lifted through the waist? Did that wrong? Lifted through the waist, tummy pulling in, ribs in, chest open. Let's go 2 more. Open, reach, close, and lower. Last one, reach, down, and relax, and rest there. If you wanted to stretch that out, you could take yourself over onto your back, keep the same leg, and bring it across. And you can just press this knee away if you want to make that a bit deeper. Draw the foot in, or even hold on to the back of the thigh. Okay, enjoy. Your job now, twiddle over and do the other side.